Hallelujah, all people. To know more about Nimrod, the Antichrist, who will come to destroy the whole earth by satanic wrath of the devil, which carry the mark of his name. You are required to read the book of Jeshua, Hebrew Bible, from chapter 7 up to chapter 12. This is a prophetic dream of Nimrod, the Antichrist, and the prophetic judgments of God, which will end his kingdom of Babylon. The Bible prophecy says in the book of Jeshua, chapter 12, from verse 45 up to verse 56, verse 45, and at the expiration of 2 years from Abram's going out of the fire. The Bible prophecy says in the book of Jeshua, chapter 12, from verse 45 up to verse 56, verse 45, and at the expiration of 2 years from Abram's going out of the fire, that is in the 52nd of his life. Behold, King Nimrod sat in Babel upon the throne, and the king fell asleep and dreamed that he was standing with his troops and hosts in a valley opposite the king's furnace. Verse 46, and he lifted up his eyes, and he saw a man in the likeness of Abram coming forth from the furnace, and that he came and stood before the king with his drawn sword, and then sprang to the king with his sword. When the king fled from the man, for he was afraid, and while he was running, the man threw an egg upon the king's head, and the egg became a great river. Verse 47, and the king dreamed that all his troops sank in that river and died. And the king took flight with the 3 men who were before him, and he escaped. Verse 48, and the king looked at these men, and they were clothed in princely dresses, as the garments of kings, and had the appearance and the majesty of kings. Verse 49, and while they were running, the river again turned to an egg before the king, and there came forth from the egg a young bird, which came before the king, and flew at his head, and plucked out the king's eye. Verse 50, and the king was grieved at the sight, and he awoke out of his sleep, and his spirit was agitated, and he felt a great terror. Verse 51, and in the morning the king rose from his couch in fear, and he ordered all the wise men and the magicians to come before him. When the king related his dream to them. Verse 52, and a wise servant of the king, whose name was Anoki, answered the king, saying, This is nothing else but the evil of Abram, and his seed, which will spring up against my lord and king,
in latter days, end times.
Verse 53. And behold, the day will come, when Abraham and his seed, and the children of his household, will war with my king. Verse 53. And behold, the day will come, when Abraham and his seed, and the children of his household, will war with my king.
And they will smite all the king's hosts and his troops. Verse 54. And as to what thou hast said concerning 3 men, which thou didst see like into thyself, and which did escape. This means that only thou will escape with the 3 kings from the kings of the earth, who will be with thee in battle. Verse 55. And that which thou sawest of the river, which turned to an egg, as at first, and the young bird plucking out thine eyes. This means nothing else but the seed of Abraham, which will slay the king in latter days, end times. Verse 56. This is my king's dream, and this is its interpretation, and the dream is true, and the interpretation which thy servant has given thee is right. Therefore, the prophetic meaning of children and seed in this prophecy of prophetic dream are the offsprings of 12 tribes of New Jerusalem, which are only offsprings of living God of heaven and the Lamb of God. Those who dress like a prince and kings represent all kings of 12 tribes of New Jerusalem, of New Earth. The man in the likeness of Abraham represent the Lamb of God, the High King of New Earth. And the scene of this prophetic dream is the last judgment war. The judgment war between Nimrod, the Antichrist, with his troops of all armies, with kings of Babylon, and the High King with all kings of New Earth.